I'm Jack and I contributed to the learning and memory theory.
I'm Ben, I contributed to perception.
I'm Ken, I contributed to the lifestyle and values section.
McDonald's is one of the largest and most successful fast food chains in the world. Internationally recognised, it serves a large variety in product offerings depending on store location. According to Business Insider, McDonald's is completely dependent on franchises for its success, as it's made up at 81% of them worldwide, selling off the rights to use its iconic branding and consumer loyalty. In terms of mission statement, McDonald's brand mission is to be the customer's favourite place to eat and drink, while also enhancing the consumer's experience by improving operations. This presentation will focus on three main consumer insight topics which impact McDonald's and how they use them to their advantage, as well as evaluating their strengths and weaknesses while contrasting with their competitors. Learning is the activity or process of acquiring knowledge or skill. This is done by observing both events and individuals and can be relatively permanent depending on the amount of repetition and reinforcement involved. There are two main learning theories, behavioural learning and cognitive learning. However, this presentation will focus on behavioural because it complements both the communication and branding that McDonald's have undergone over recent years. This theory focuses on more external events that McDonald's applies to communications. It starts with a stimulus, which could be an advertisement. For example, in 2019, McDonald's turned some of their billboards into beehives. This advert acted not only as good PR, but also instilled a positive message within the brand. This stimulus would then be processed by the consumer, and due to the nature of the message and how important it is, the consumer would then act upon this message. Positive reinforcement of the message would create a positive response around the brand perception and therefore higher brand loyalty, which ultimately ends with the consumer buying more products from McDonald's and a positive outcome for the consumer. Through behavioural learning, consumers respond to brand names, jingles, and other marketing stimuli based on learning connections that are formed over time. These connections, if positive, would result in a consumer retention, and if negative experience would happen, then the consumer would not shop there again. Behavioural learning is made up of two main approaches: classical conditioning and instrumental conditioning. There are main four learning outcomes that conditioning can achieve: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment, and also extinction. Operant conditioning can achieve multiple learning outcomes. This form of conditioning occurs when an individual learns to perform a behaviour because there will be a positive outcome. This is called positive reinforcement, which means the consumer is more likely to act on this response again. An example for this would be the McDonald's coffee sales promotion. An individual will buy 5 coffees and the 6th would be completely free. This incentivizes the purchases and also gives the consumer a desired outcome to aim for. If the promotion was to ever expire, then this would be classed as an extinction learning outcome, meaning the consumer would reduce or stop purchasing coffee. This would be considered a main weakness for this kind of sales promotion. Punishment also happens as part of the operant conditioning, meaning that if there was a negative outcome, then the consumer would then try to avoid it. In this case, would be a negative experience with the product/service at McDonald's, which would ultimately impact consumer retention, something they are not known for, however. Negative reinforcement can also occur from past experience. This means that the consumer will attempt to avoid the negative outcome and take action. An example for this would be missing food in your order, therefore the next time you're going to check your receipt and cross-reference in your order so it's all there. All four of the learning outcomes interlink and can influence each other, both strengthening and weakening in connections of the learning outcomes. Marketers of McDonald's aim to have the most effective reinforcement schedules, as this then translates to their marketing objectives, the effort and also the resources they must devote in order to maintain a desired conditioned behaviour, which in result rewards the consumers and gives them positive outcomes, therefore increasing consumer loyalty and retention. One of the main scheduling strategies that McDonald's do each year is the Monopoly Games promotion, which runs through March and April. Consumers get the chance to win prizes such as free food, drink and also money. This would be classified as a fixed interval reinforcement strategy that is seen as predictable to the consumer. This then means that there's less amount of money spent on the awareness. Year on year, it's proven to be a huge success, as the Drum reported it helped decrease cost per acquisition, and the positive reinforcement has conditioned it to a way that offers a very positive outcome for the consumer. Classical conditioning occurs when a stimulus that gives a response is paired with a stimulus that doesn't give a response. Over time, the second stimulus is then associated with the same response as the first stimulus. This kind of conditioning works with branding. You don't associate the brand with a product until it's been conditioned with a repetition of the same pairing. The more exposure, the stronger the association. So in terms of McDonald's, the yellow M is associated with fast food, which gives off a reaction of being hungry and thirsty. If McDonald's were to reduce adverts, then the association could weaken, and if they were to overdo their adverts, this could also weaken the allure. In 2018, McDonald's used sequential advertising, making 4 billboards which all complemented each other, a visual stimulus which acted as directions for the restaurant. Each billboard featured segments of the logo. This was possible due to successful classical conditioning, meaning the consumer only needed to see the iconic red and yellow to know the brand. And they were also conditioned into reading the directions as positive reinforcement, knowing if they followed the signs, they would have a positive outcome, aka food. When you think of a brand, you often think about the colours, the shapes, and the wording. This is all a result of conditioning. So for Burger King, you are more focused on the shape and less about the colours compared to McDonald's, who are associated with their bold yellow and red branding. When comparing McDonald's against their competitors in terms of conditioning, they use more sound-based stimuli such as the jingle, which is memorable. However, it could be perceived as annoying by customers and can act as advertising wear-out, as stated by Sage Journal, which mentions substantial repetition could inhibit learning. Burger King's jingle, however, isn't a sound stimulus, and that of a motto called "Go On Say It," which is extremely new, so the conditioning will be fairly weak compared to McDonald's. Burger King is also well known for their celebrity endorsements with celebrities such as Conor McGregor, which however you could argue is a bad thing if the consumers don't like this celebrity, and that also using athletes to endorse fast food does instill more of a positive reinforced message to the consumer, as it's conditioned to be more healthy and beneficial. McDonald's don't use endorsements, and this could be considered to be their main weakness.
Solomon states that perception is a three-stage process that translates raw stimuli into meaning, and furthermore, it is the process by which physical sensations such as sights, sounds, and smells are selected, organized, and interpreted. When a consumer comes into contact with different marketing stimuli, for example, a bus stop advertisement, the scent of McDonald's fast food, or a radio commercial with the "I'm loving it" jingle, one or more of their five senses are activated. The brain will start to process the raw sensations and try to make sense of them. This is known as the perceptual process and is depicted in the diagram. The first part of the perceptual process is exposure. Exposure occurs when we first come into contact with a particular stimulus or message. Because of the vast number of different stimuli we are exposed to on a daily basis, we can sometimes be oblivious to something, even if it is right in front of us. Consumers are often in a state of sensory overload. This is where we are exposed to more messages than we can physically process. For example, we are exposed to 3,500 pieces of advertising information every single day. This is up from around 560 per day 30 years ago. As a result, McDonald's persistently use tactics such as guerrilla marketing, with common examples shown on screen that not only engage the attention of consumers but become the talking point of social media online. One example is the first ever McDonald's live stream. They mimicked a Bob Ross style painting. This gained large amounts of attention, and according to Adweek, the campaign reached 884,300 people in 40 minutes and recorded 43,200 engagements or likes, comments, and shares. However, the campaign lacks a prominent call to action, resulting in a lack of response. Interpretation is meaning that people attach to a stimuli. McDonald's have a recognition threshold, which is the yellow M. It is a global brand that everyone in the world can recognize at just a glance. The brand doesn't require the brand name in marketing, as everyone recognizes the brand by the logo and the color of it. Examples can be seen on screen. This gives the brand a simple and appealing aesthetic. McDonald's also exploit the use of contrasting colors by using yellow and red, strong vivid colors that appeal to target audience. This is done to stand out from the rest of its competition. Solomon stated that some colours, particularly red, create feelings of arousal and stimulate appetite. McDonald's use numerous tactics to sell their products. During the rush hours of the day, the company puts adverts that are specifically aimed at those driving a car. One advert for fries features a sound that you could describe as something like a deep fat fryer, and the voiceover even announces that the smell of the fries being cooked will be transferred to your car. McDonald's market using personal determinants such as motivational factors. An example of this would be people who are keen on healthy eating may focus their attention to ingredients of a food advert and make interpretation from it. Hence, in this case, McDonald's market their food as well presentable and incorporate overhanging vegetables to distort its appearance of being a more healthier product. Since 2017, McDonald's have had a major push on consumer perception of the brand. In 2018, the company introduced the Hands Full campaign. The Hands Full campaign was highly emotive due to the nature of the advert and the sound stimulus to attract the attention of the consumer. The campaign converted their original focus of food quality towards customer service by incorporating convenience services such as table service, an attempt to alter consumer perceptions of the brand. This evidently worked, leading to improvements in brand perception and sales increase whole year round, according to Marketing Week. Tools such as a perceptual map allow businesses such as McDonald's to position themselves in a market based on consumer perception. According to several sources and McDonald's own Savour menu, we price McDonald's as having some of the lowest quality produce in the market but at the lowest price. The position on the map may have been aided McDonald's into changing consumer perceptions by driving a more customer service based approach in their operations. The fast food market is heavily saturated with huge amounts of competition. McDonald's competition includes both Burger King and KFC. Both brands have a global recognition threshold. This is evidently seen in the first image as Burger King chooses to cut out their brand name, similar to McDonald's, with the marketing of their logo, but still benefit from brand recognition due to the shape and colour. KFC have had their famous Colonel Sanders logo visible from space, and Burger King have attempted to gain exposure through a social media stunt, incorporating a personal hashtag. Unless a company seeks to gain brand awareness, these marketing tools lack the presence of a call to action.
According to Swartz and Bilski, values are concepts or beliefs that can lead to a desirable end state or behaviour, transcend certain situations, guide selection in valuation of behaviour and events, ordered by relative importance. And McDonald's guide selection goals are responsible leadership, helping out the environment, inclusiveness, welcoming customers of every culture and age and background, progressiveness, looking to innovate. And the goals that consumers want from McDonald's are tasty food, fast food, customer service, lower prices. To achieve their values, McDonald's is reducing 36% emissions by 2030 within their restaurants, working with Red Cross Human Rights Campaign, and starting to sell fully vegan meals. According to Wood, market segmentation is the process of grouping customers within the market according to similar needs, habits, or attitudes that can be addressed through marketing. Different consumers have different lifestyles. By targeting certain groups and their behaviour, McDonald's are then be able to market to those with similar needs, habits, and attitudes. This also means they can save money on resources as they are targeting on one set of consumers. An example for this would be the demand for meat-free food in the UK, which has seen an increase in 987% in 2017, and in 2019, McDonald's launched its first ever vegan Happy Meal. In order to target certain demographics, such as children, they have implemented gaming systems into their restaurants to keep the consumer engaged and to satisfy their needs. However, over the years, gaming has almost replaced traditional forms of entertainment. This bold strategy adds a sense of excitement which ultimately results in money spent within the restaurant. A weakness for this, however, could be that parents think negatively towards the approach, which results in them going elsewhere. According to Solomon, co-branding is when two companies come together to promote two or more items. It makes a product more appealing when comparing with another competitor having the same product in the market. For example, McDonald's and Monopoly. In this example, McDonald's brings out a competition. In order to participate, you have to purchase a product from McDonald's. With that product, there should be a code you can either redeem online or store, containing discount vouchers, cinema tickets, gadgets. With this campaign, both brands are establishing themselves as lifestyle brands, sharing the same principle of being fun and bringing family together. The values and lifestyle framework helps to understand consumer types based on lifestyle and values. The VALS framework has 6 core groups. These are primary motivation, tradition, activators, achievement, self-expression, and high and low resources. Activators like to innovate, accept new ideas and services, have a strong personal identity. Traditionalists, they relegate social change, forcing reassessment of new ideas in the light of proven and established standards and ethical codes. Achievers believe achievement is through hard work and professional endeavour. Seekers, self-centralised and wanting action. Pragmatics, dislike standing out from their peer group and have a low attachment to lifestyle. Aspirationals, self-expression, motivation. Constraints, like to hold on to the familiar and the past. McDonald's introducing 4 new items on the US menu to attract activators. These include the Hong Kong chicken sandwich, Spanish ground bacon burger, Netherlands stroopwafel McFlurry, Malaysia's cheesy bacon fries. These will attract activators for sure, as they like to try new products and being different from others. Burger King are using AR to attract activators. The ad encourages consumers to burn rivals' ads from their phone. In return, they get a free burger from Burger King. According to Rockich, terminal values is the things people feel important in their life. For example, freedom, mature love, self-respect, happiness, family security, inner harmony, and a world at peace. McDonald's Keeping Families Together campaign is a great example of this. The ad focuses on how McDonald's is giving back to the community through their Ronald McDonald House charity, where it provides free home away from home accommodations for families experiencing hospital treatment, allowing them to be near their child. With this ad, McDonald's is solving family security and inner harmony for our families. This provides a better brand image for them. Strengths and weaknesses of the campaign. Strengths are increased brand awareness, increased customer involvement because the ad campaign has a digital display campaign which invites viewers to find out more about the charity. Seen as ethical, this gives the brand a competitive advantage. Weakness. not meeting all consumer values or needs simply because some customers may not care about these charity events. Instead, they want a campaign focusing on food.